Have you ever wondered how the websites you visit every day are made? From social media platforms to online shops, each one is carefully built. This process is called web development. It is the art and science of creating websites and applications for the internet. Learning this skill opens up a new world of creativity and opportunity. You can build a personal blog, a portfolio to showcase your work, or even the next big online business. The power to create something on the web is an exciting and valuable skill to have in today's digital age. It is more accessible than you might think, and this guide is your first step. The internet is a fundamental part of our modern lives, connecting us to information, entertainment, and each other in countless ways. Every interaction you have online, from reading news articles to watching videos, is made possible by web developers. They are the architects of the digital spaces we inhabit daily. By learning the basics of web development, you are not just acquiring a technical skill, you are learning the language of the internet itself. This understanding empowers you to become a creator, not just a consumer of digital content. The journey may seem long, but it starts with simple, manageable steps that anyone can follow. Imagine having an idea for a project, a business, or a community, and being able to build a home for it online. Web development gives you the tools to turn your vision into a reality that can be shared with the world. You do not need a special background in computer science or mathematics to start. All you truly need is curiosity and a willingness to learn. The path is well trodden with countless resources available to guide you along the way. Many successful developers started exactly where you are now, with a simple desire to understand how the web works and a passion for creating something new. This guide is designed to be your friendly introduction to this fascinating field. We will break down complex topics into simple, understandable pieces. We will explore the core technologies that power every website and explain how they work together. You will learn about the different roles in web development and discover the path to building your very own website from scratch. Think of this as the beginning of an exciting adventure. By the end, you will have a clear map of what web development is and how you can start your own journey to becoming a creator on the web. At its heart, web development is the work involved in creating a website for the internet or an intranet. It can range from developing a simple single static page of plain text to complex web applications, electronic businesses, and social network services. Think of it as constructing a house. You need a plan, you need materials to build the structure, and you need to decorate it to make it look good and function well for the people living inside. In the same way, web development involves planning, building the structure with code, and designing the user experience to make the website useful and enjoyable for visitors. Web development is often broken down into two main parts, the front end and the back end. The front end is everything the user sees and interacts with in their browser. This includes the layout, the colors, the fonts, and the buttons. It is the client side of the application. The back end, on the other hand, is the server side. It is the part of the website you do not see. It is responsible for storing and organizing data and ensuring that everything on the front end works correctly. For example, when you log into a website, the back end checks if your username and password are correct. So, who is a web developer? A web developer is a programmer who specializes in the development of worldwide web applications. They take a web design, which has been created by a designer, and turn it into a fully functioning website. They use different programming languages and technologies to achieve this. Some developers focus only on the front end, some only on the back end, and some, known as full-stack developers, work on both. No matter the specialty, their goal is always the same: to build a seamless and effective experience for the person visiting the website. Understanding web development is important because the web is everywhere. Businesses need websites to reach customers. Artists need them to display their portfolios, and communities need them to connect their members. Knowing how these digital platforms are built gives you a deeper appreciation for the technology you use every day. It also provides a powerful skill set that is in high demand across many industries. Whether you want to pursue it as a career or simply build a website for a personal project, learning web development is a rewarding endeavor that connects you directly to the digital heart of our world. To understand web development, it helps to know how a website works from a technical standpoint. It all starts when you type a website address like www.google.com into your web browser. This address is also known as a URL, or Uniform Resource Locator. Your browser then sends a request over the internet to a special computer called a server. This server is where all the files that make up the website are stored. Think of the server as a giant library, and your request is like asking the librarian for a specific book. The server's job is to find the requested files and send them back. The server finds the correct files for the website you requested. These files are written in different languages that your browser can understand, primarily HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The server sends these files back to your computer through the internet. This process happens very quickly, usually in just a few seconds. Your web browser, such as Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, receives these files. The browser's job is to act as an interpreter. It reads the code in the files and uses it to render or draw the website on your screen. It assembles all the pieces just like you would assemble a puzzle. The three core languages of the web, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, each have a distinct and crucial role. HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, provides the basic structure of the site. It is the skeleton. CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets, is used to control the presentation, formatting, and layout. It is the clothing and appearance. JavaScript is the language that makes the website interactive. It is what makes things happen, like animations, pop-up menus, or validating a form. Together, these three technologies form the foundation of virtually every website you see on the internet. So, in summary, the process is simple. You request a website through your browser. The request goes to a server that hosts the website's files. The server sends these files back to your browser. Finally, your browser reads the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files to display the fully formed, interactive website on your screen. Understanding this fundamental request and response cycle is the first major step in demystifying the web. It is the invisible dance of technology that happens every time you browse, and it is the foundation upon which all web development is built. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the standard language used to create web pages. It is the most basic building block you will need to learn. Think of HTML as the skeleton of a website. It provides the fundamental structure and content of the page. Every heading, paragraph, image, link, and button you see on a website is defined by an HTML element. Without HTML, a web browser would not know how to display the text or load other elements. It is the starting point for all web development and the first language every new developer should learn. HTML works by using tags to define different types of content. These tags are keywords surrounded by angle brackets like P for a paragraph or H1 for a main heading. Most tags come in pairs, an opening tag and a closing tag. For example, to create a paragraph, you would write P, this is a paragraph /P. The opening tag P tells the browser to start a paragraph, and the closing tag /P tells it where the paragraph ends. This simple system of tags is used to build up the entire structure of a web page, from the very top to the very bottom. A typical HTML document has a standard structure. It starts with a doc-type HTML declaration, which tells the browser that the document is an HTML5 page. The content is then wrapped in an HTML tag. Inside the HTML tag there are two main sections, the head and the body. The head section contains meta information about the page, such as the title that appears in the Browser tab. This information is not displayed on the page itself. The body section contains all the visible content of the page, like text, images, and links. Learning HTML is about learning which tags to use to structure your content correctly. You will learn how to create headings of different sizes, organize text into paragraphs and lists, embed images and videos, and create links that allow users to navigate to other pages. While it might seem like a lot at first, the logic is very straightforward. By mastering HTML, you gain the ability to create well-structured, meaningful, and accessible web pages. It is the essential first skill that provides the solid foundation upon which you will build all of your future web development projects. Okay, so once you have the structure of your website in place with HTML, the next step is to make it look good. This is where CSS comes in. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it's the language used to describe the presentation of a web page. If HTML is the skeleton, then CSS is like the clothing, the makeup, and the hairstyle. It controls the colors, fonts, spacing, layout, and pretty much all the visual aspects of your website. Without CSS, honestly, the web would be a very plain and boring place with just black text on a white background. CSS is what really brings design and personality to a site. CSS works by selecting HTML elements and applying rules to them. For example, you can select all the paragraph elements, those tags, on your page, and apply a rule to make their text color blue and their font size larger. These rules are written in a CSS file which is then linked to your HTML document. This separation of structure, which is HTML, and style, which is CSS, is a core principle of modern web development. It makes your code cleaner, easier to maintain, and way more flexible. You can completely change the look of a website just by editing the CSS file without even touching the HTML at all. The syntax of CSS is actually pretty simple and intuitive. It consists of a selector and a declaration block. The selector points to the HTML element you want to style. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by semicolons. Each declaration includes a CSS property name and a value, separated by a colon. For example, to make all headings red, you'd write, "Here is the selector and is the declaration block." You can add more properties like or inside the same block. Learning CSS is kind of like a journey into the world of web design. You'll start with basic properties like color and typography, and move on to more advanced concepts like layout. You'll learn about the box model, which describes how every HTML element is a rectangular box with margins, borders, padding, and content. You'll also learn about modern layout techniques like Flexbox and Grid, which let you create complex and responsive designs that look good on any screen size, from a small phone to a large desktop monitor. Mastering CSS gives you the power to create beautiful, professional, and user-friendly websites. After structuring your page with HTML and styling it with CSS, the final piece of the core technology puzzle is JavaScript. JavaScript, often abbreviated as JS, is a programming language that allows you to implement complex features on web pages. If HTML is the skeleton and CSS is the clothing, then JavaScript is the nervous system and muscles. It's what makes a website interactive and dynamic. Anytime you see a photo slideshow, an interactive map, an animated graphic, or a form that gives you instant feedback, you are seeing JavaScript in action. It transforms a static page into a lively and engaging experience. Unlike HTML and CSS, which are markup and style languages, JavaScript is a true programming language. This means it can perform more complex tasks. It can listen for user actions like clicks and keyboard presses, and react to them. It can update the content and style of a page without needing to reload it from the server. It can communicate with the server in the background to fetch new data or send information. For example, when you like a post on social media, JavaScript sends that information to the server and updates the like count on your screen instantly, all without a full page refresh. Getting started with JavaScript involves learning its basic syntax and concepts, such as variables, data types, functions, and loops. You'll write scripts that are either embedded directly in your HTML file or placed in a separate JS file and linked to your HTML. One of the most important aspects of client-side JavaScript is interacting with the Document Object Model, or DOM. The DOM is a representation of the HTML document that JavaScript can manipulate. You can use JavaScript to find HTML elements, change their content, alter their styles, and even create or delete them. As you progress, you'll discover the vast ecosystem of JavaScript libraries and frameworks. Tools like React, Angular, and Vue provide pre-written code and structures that make it easier and faster to build complex user interfaces. These frameworks are the foundation of most modern single-page applications, where the entire application runs within a single web page. Learning JavaScript opens the door to not just front-end development, but also back-end development with platforms like Node. It's a versatile and powerful language that is essential for any aspiring modern web developer. Web development is broadly divided into two main disciplines: front-end development and back-end development. Understanding the distinction between them is key to navigating the world of web technologies. Front-end development, also known as client-side development, is everything that the user directly sees and interacts with in their browser. It involves creating the visual elements of a website, ensuring the user interface is intuitive, and making sure the design is responsive, meaning it works well on devices of all sizes. The primary tools of a front-end developer are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The front end is all about the user experience. A front-end developer's job is to translate a designer's vision into a living, breathing website. They build the layout, apply the styles, and program the interactive elements. They're concerned with how the website looks, the design, and how it feels to use the user experience. When you click a button, scroll through a page, or fill out a form, you are interacting with the work of a front-end developer. Their goal is to create a seamless, efficient, and enjoyable journey for every visitor who lands on the site. Back-end development, on the other hand, is also known as server-side development. This is the part of the website that the user does not see. It's the engine that powers the front end. The back-end consists of three parts: a server, an application, and a database. The back-end developer's work involves managing the database, writing the application logic, and ensuring that everything on the server side runs smoothly. They use server-side languages like Python, Ruby, PHP, Java, or Node, which is JavaScript running on a server, to build the application's core logic. The back-end is responsible for all the behind-the-scenes processes. When you create an account on a website, the back-end code securely stores your information in a database. When you search for a product in an online store, the back-end queries the database and sends the results back to the front end to be displayed. Back-end developers are focused on data, security, and performance. While front-end developers work to make the site beautiful and easy to use, back-end developers work to make sure it is fast, secure, and reliable. Both roles are essential and work together to create a complete and functional web application. Building your first website is an exciting milestone. It can be broken down into 5 manageable steps. The first step is to plan. Before you write a single line of code, you should have a clear idea of what you want to build. What is the purpose of your website? Is it a personal portfolio, a blog, or a site for a small business? Sketch out a simple design on paper. This is called a wireframe. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just a basic layout showing where the header, navigation menu, main content, and footer will go. Planning helps you stay focused and organized throughout the process. The second step is to create the structure with HTML. Open a simple text editor like VS Code or even Notepad, and create a new file named index.html. This will be your home page. Start by writing the basic HTML boilerplate structure, including the doc type, HTML, head, and body tags. Then, using your wireframe as a guide, add the HTML elements for your content. Create headings with H1, H2, and so on, write paragraphs with P, build your navigation menu with an unordered list, and add links with A tags. At this stage, focus only on the content and its structure. The third step is to style your page with CSS. Create a new file named style.css in the same folder as your HTML file. In your HTML file, add a link tag inside the head section to connect your style sheet. Now you can start writing CSS rules in your style.css file. Use selectors to target your HTML elements and apply properties like color, font family, margin, and padding. Experiment with different styles to match the look you envisioned in your plan. This is where your website starts to develop its unique visual identity. The fourth step is to add interactive features with JavaScript, which is optional for a very simple first site. If you want to add a feature, like a button that shows a pop-up message, you can create a third file named script.js. Link this file to your HTML, usually just before the closing body tag. In your JavaScript file, you can write a function that displays an alert when the button is clicked. The fifth and final step is to publish your website. You'll need to choose a hosting provider and purchase a domain name. Then you upload your index.html, style.css, and script.js files to the hosting server, and your website will be live on the internet for everyone to see. To begin your web development journey, you do not need much. The most essential tool is a good code editor, which is a text editor designed specifically for writing code. Many excellent options are free. Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, is incredibly popular among developers for its powerful features and user-friendly interface. Other great choices for beginners include Sublime Text and Atom. These editors provide features like syntax highlighting, which colors your code to make it easier to read, and code completion, which helps you write code faster and with fewer errors. Beyond a code editor, your most important tool will be your web browser. Browsers like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge come with built-in developer tools. You can access these by right-clicking on any web page and selecting Inspect. These tools are invaluable for debugging your code. They allow you to see your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in action, test changes to your CSS live, and check for errors in your JavaScript console. Learning to use the developer tools effectively is a critical skill that will save you countless hours of frustration as you learn and build. When it comes to learning resources, there is an abundance of high-quality free material available online. MDN Web Docs, the Mozilla Developer Network, is considered the definitive resource for web standards. It's like the encyclopedia for all things HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For structured learning paths, websites like FreeCodeCamp and the Odin Project offer comprehensive project-based curriculums that take you from absolute beginner to job-ready developer. Platforms like Codecademy and Scrimba offer interactive lessons that allow you to code directly in your browser, which is a great way to get hands-on practice. Your journey has just begun. The key to success in web development is consistency and practice. Don't be afraid to experiment, make mistakes, and build things. Start with small projects. Recreate a simple web page that you like. Build a personal landing page. Each project you complete will solidify your knowledge and boost your confidence. Join online communities on platforms like Reddit, especially r/webdev, or Discord to ask questions and connect with other learners. Learning to code is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and most importantly, have fun creating on the web.